everyone. Welcome to our December podcast, and we're going to be talking today about the ghosts of Christmas past.
Actually, there's no ghosts. It's just Christmas past.
Oh.
But I got some great things to talk about.
Let's do it.
Hey everybody, Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Welcome to Nonsensicality. We're so excited you're checking us out, and it's now December. And so, no matter what camp you're in about, starting your celebration of Christmas, whether it's before Thanksgiving, we talked about that last week a little bit, after Thanksgiving, it doesn't matter. It's after Thanksgiving. And so we're ready to talk about Christmas. And this month, for the first 3 weeks of December, we're going to be talking about Christmas past, Christmas presents, and Christmas future. And so I'm excited about it. But today we're talking about Christmas past.
Hey, before we talk about it, can I tell you a joke?
Sure.
Okay. What's a snowman's favorite month?
What is a snowman's favorite month? I feel like I might have heard this joke before on the back of a good book. What? I don't know. What is it?
December.
Where did you hear such a great joke? Where did you hear it?
It was on the back of this book I got. It's called Piggy and the Bear, Santa's Little Helpers, and Piggy told the bear a joke.
Well, that is an amazing way to segue into an advertisement. So it's December, and Christmas is going to be here like super quick. I mean, I just have a feeling this month, it always goes by super fast, and I don't know why I feel like this month's going to go by really fast. So if you haven't got your copy of Piggy and the Bear, Santa's Little Helpers, and you have kids, or kids, you have nieces or nephews.
Or you used to be a kid.
It'll make you feel like a kid again. Read Piggy and the Bear, Santa's Little Helpers. We actually had the privilege of reading it to a classroom yesterday. Well, Kim did. I did not. I took pictures of her reading it. And the kids were loving it. They were engaged with it. They were like trying to predict what was happening. So seriously, this is like real data here on this book. It's not just us blowing smoke. Literally, kids are really engaging with the book, and we've had lots of great compliments on it. People are really excited about it. So if you haven't had a chance, you can go to Amazon.com and just look for Caleb Rankin or Kimberly Rankin. Not Kim Rankin, because that's another author, and it'll take you to other books that aren't ours. Or just look for Piggy and the Bear, Santa's Little Helpers. Or you can go to camptownmedia.com and check it out there too.
That's right.
And it'll have direct links to the Piggy and the Bear book, which we're really excited about. It turned out really cute, really fun, and so we are getting lots of people loving it. And so we want you to love it. We just want you to enjoy it too. You can get it on paperback or ebook. All right, I think we're done with the commercial. We're done with the advertisement. Right? In the commercial.
In scene. We needed some nonsense.
All right, and so every year I always hear fun Christmas facts. Like about what's the most widely, the most popular Christmas song ever.
Jingle Bell Rock.
No, really, you know the answer.
I actually don't.
White Christmas, of course.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah, Bing Crosby's White Christmas is, the number one. I guess I could have.
It's not Santa Baby by Mariah Carey.
No, not yet. Who knows? Time may tell.
Gross.
I don't think time will tell.
No.
But yeah, White Christmas, of course. Speaking of, before we get into my fun facts, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
White Christmas.
Growing up, it was White. I'm a fan of White Christmas, but did you know that White Christmas, and you do, was not introduced in the movie White Christmas?
Correct.
It was introduced in Holiday Inn, which I kind of like better. It was a black and white. It wasn't in color. It was still Bing Crosby. It was Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, and it was
Holiday Inn is delightful.
They're like competing for a girl basically throughout an entire year of holidays.
And it's so funny.
So it's a lot of fun. And so if you haven't seen Holiday Inn, I enjoy it a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's so good.
But I'm not here to talk about White Christmas because everybody knows White Christmas. So I actually decided to look up some fun, weird facts we may not know. Most of what I found is on a website called pastbook.com. So you can look up all of them. There were 12 fun Christmas facts. I'm just going to breeze over a few of them that I found is interesting.
The ones that have the most nonsense.
Yeah, the most have the most nonsense. The one that has the, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, Jingle Bells. The song Jingle Bells, right?
Yep.
What's it about?
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
Yeah.
Over fields.
Yeah.
And they're laughing all
So
the
what
way.
holiday is this song about?
Winter.
Winter. Winter's not a holiday. Actually, it was written as a Thanksgiving song.
Does it snow over Thanksgiving?
Up
Where
north it
we
does.
live.
There were some friends up north that, yeah.
Okay, yeah. But
I mean, a lot of climates are cooler than, like even England and parts
So-
of Europe, Germany and all
so
those.
Jingle Bells is the probably only existing Thanksgiving song.
There
out
we go. We were just talking about that. So apparently, if you're in that camp that says Thanksgiving first, then Christmas, the only song you're allowed to play
It's
up until Thanksgiving is Jingle Bells. So they at least have some ammunition for the argument. They can be like, no, there are Thanksgiving carols. There is Thanksgiving Carol.
There is a Thanksgiving carol.
It was written in 1857 by James Lord Pierpont. I love that name. Can I change my name to Caleb Lord Pierpont?
Well, then,
Lord Caleb. And I don't think he was like a lord. I think that was his middle name. And it was published under the title One Horse Open Sleigh. It wasn't even called Jingle Bells. And it was supposed to be played in the composer's Sunday school class during Thanksgiving time as a way to commemorate the famed Medford sleigh races. Never even heard of them.
so it's a commercial for a local event, really.
Pretty much it was celebrating the Medford sleigh races. And it was also, fun fact, Jingle Bells was the first song broadcast from space. So when they were in space, Jingle Bells was the first song being broadcast from
Really?
space. Yeah. I don't know if it was when
Couldn't they
a
have
rocket
found a
went up or...
better one
Well,
or
maybe it was the holidays. Maybe it was Thanksgiving. They're like, no, it's too early to play any other.
We
got to do
stick to
Jingle
tradition.
Bells. All right. This one, I found this fact scary and kind of creepy, but it's all right. Rudolph's red nose is probably the result of a parasitic infection of his respiratory system. So apparently some people with
Rudolph really has a sinus infection.
Yeah, apparently he's got a bad cold. No, I don't know. It's according to Roger Highfield. What?
That makes the lisp that he has in that cartoon so much more significant.
Because it's covering it up, and it's like he can't breathe out his nose because he's anyway.
Fun fact: I actually really dislike that cartoon.
You don't like the Rudolph
No.
claymation? It's not really claymation, stop motion.
No, I think it's weird.
Well, that's funny. But anyway, according to Roger Highfield, the author of the book, The Physics of Christmas, from aerodynamics of reindeer to the thermodynamics of turkey.
Are you serious?
Isn't that great? Roger Highfield. Anyway.
He had nothing else to do, so he wrote about the physics of
Christmas.
Christmas.
He says that the red nose is due to a parasite. However, Rudolph's relationship with the parasite is symbiotic because obviously it ends up helping him down the road guide a sleigh.
Oh, good. I'm glad we threw some science behind what caused the nose to go.
How about some cultural literacy? Okay, so we celebrate at Christmas time in America and like England, Father Christmas, or as we call him here in America,
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. And of course, we've heard of other cultures having Santa Claus type legends. It's not always Santa Claus or Father Christmas. There's, the Krampus, which I think today, the day we're recording this, is like a Krampus day or whatever. And
Really?
so he's like the kind of an imp that basically haunts you if you're bad. Most of the Santa legends,
Really?
In America,
really takes up that naughty list.
yeah, in America, we focus more on the nice list. But in a lot of the other parts of the world, and especially in older cultures, it was more about, let's keep kids behaving. So it was more focusing on punishing bad kids. And so Krampus was one of those. And then like the Belschnickel from, when people hear Belschnickel, they always think of Dwight Schrute in The Office.
Can I tell you something? When you pause like that and look at me like I should know something, I
love
get
it.
really nervous
love
for a
it.
second,
I
but
know.
I'm not going to know it.
I know. And I see that look in your eye and it makes me smile.
I don't know.
Dwight Schrute in The Office, yes, he did the whole Belschnickel thing, and it was he basically would punish you if you were he would whip you with like a broom or something.
Something. That was a pretty good episode.
So the Netherlands has something called Sinterklaas. It's the Dutch version of Santa Claus, and he does not live in the North Pole. Where does he live?
South Pole elf.
Well, he is south of them. They're up north,
I know.
and so it's like we're already cold. Let's bring him.
He's
from
an
somewhere.
equator elf. He's from the equator.
He's from the equator, just somewhere.
He's
along.
like Surfer Santa.
Yeah, no, he's from Spain. So that's where he's from, and it's weird. And a lot of the older traditions are very culturally insensitive. Some would even possibly say they're kind of racist, in a way.
So is he
and this one, I would say it's approaching. Maybe they've changed the tradition.
Why is he from Spain?
That's not the racist part. That's just maybe. I guess it is kind of towards Spanish people, the people who live in Spain. But Santa Claus has little helpers that aren't elves, though. They are black-faced boys and girls who can steal your kids if they misbehave. And so I don't know if it's saying that they're like African or if they're like more like imps or something like that. But they paint their faces black and
they steal the children.
And they steal children, and so it's like very like I would imagine probably they've updated the culture a little bit.
Are you sure we're not talking about the ghosts of Christmas past?
No, I mean some of these are kind of creepy, but if his helpers, whatever they are, if they steal your kids for misbehaving, they take them to Spain, which apparently is a punishment. So yes, it is like very culturally insensitive towards Spanish people, towards the entire continent of Africa, possibly.
A little bit rude.
I would imagine they've changed that right now. But even the Belschnickel had, I think that was a tradition. It wasn't an elf. It was a blackface type thing. So it was, that obviously, hopefully they've kind of, changed the traditions in those over time. So, but yeah, traditionally he was from Spain, and if you're in the Netherlands, and you would get abducted and apparently raised in Spain, which is a form of punishment.
They have delicious food though, so maybe that wouldn't be a terrible thing.
I wouldn't hate being in Spain. I have some friends
beautiful.
that are missionaries in Spain now, and I have a friend that travels to Spain occasionally for trips, and
I'm not going to start misbehaving, but Spain's not the worst place.
No, because here in America, it's not what you get. You get the lump of coal, right? So, all right, here's a fun one. In Germany, Poland, Ukraine, finding a spider or spider's web on a Christmas tree is believed to be a harbinger of good luck. So,
do you know how much good luck I've killed over the years?
No doubt. Well, they got to be in your Christmas tree. I think the most thing we found in our Christmas tree is dog urine.
That was not a blessing.
That was not a blessing. One of our dogs, that was horrible.
Well, okay, so the poor dog, he's a boy dog, and there's a tree in the house.
There's a tree in the house. A dog does what a dog's got to do, and he wants to make sure our house is safe and people know who it belongs to.
It's Toby's tree.
So Toby peed on the tree, but we thought he peed on the carpet, so we were scrubbing the carpet all around the tree, all throughout Christmas, and we're like, stop peeing around the carpet. And we didn't realize, I guess we just underestimated how tall his hiking of his leg was. Because then when we started taking down the tree, like several of the lower branches were glistening with gold. It was not tinsel. But yeah, it was Toby.
Toby's tree.
Toby's contribution to decorating the tree. So needless to say, we had to soak some branches and clean them. I don't even know if we have that tree anymore. I don't want to know.
That was not a blessing.
But apparently the reason why spiders are considered a harbinger of good luck in a tree is because there's legends that, according to legend, a spider wove the first blanket for baby Jesus. So it was like, which is scary thinking, it's like essentially, my mental imagery is like, that's not cool at all. I mean, like, it reminds me of Lord of the Rings, whenever Frodo gets wrapped up by the big, the scene you never watched.
The scene I don't watch.
Yeah, that's what I think of. It doesn't sound fun and all that, but I'm sure the way they were spinning the tail, pun intended. I'm sure they were trying to make it sound endearing towards the spiders, like even spiders love baby Jesus, and made him his first blanket. But for me, it just sounds scary.
I still don't feel bad for killing them.
It's so weird when you dig into the past and like cultural pasts, like obviously all of our fairy tales and things like that.
Right.
They're a lot darker the further back you go. Like when you go into Grimm Brothers, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later, actually. And yeah, they play a little bit of a role in Christmas.
Okay.
We're going to get to that later. So, okay, here's a fun fact for you. This one I didn't know. 2 weeks before Christmas is one of the 2 most popular times for couples to break up. So 2 weeks before Christmas. So my mind, and the other time, I'll go to the other time, is 2 weeks after Valentine's. So 2 weeks before Christmas or 2 weeks after Valentine's. So my thought is for the guys, it's the 2 weeks before Christmas is more of the breakup. The guy's like, I can't afford to buy a gift. It's probably just easier to break up instead. And the girls, it's 2 weeks after Valentine's when the guy didn't buy a good enough gift, and she's like, all right, that's it.
That's it. It's
done. It's so the girl's like,
really? 2 weeks before Christmas?
Yeah, but Christmas Day is actually the lowest breakup. And so this is all based on Facebook status data. So it's not like I know that's
Because
it.
that's
I
accurate.
dropped that bomb afterwards. It's not like psychological, surveys or anything. It's just based on Facebook data. Whenever people change their relationship statuses, so there you go.
That was one of my favorite phrases. Is it Facebook official?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That's hilarious.
Man, I got so many more I want to do, but I can't do them all. I would recommend going to the Passbook website and checking them out. There's one about people in Japan traditionally eat KFC for Christmas dinner. Because really Christianity is not a big thing in Japan. It's a very small percentage. But early on, KFC, even back in 1947, they did a campaign called Kentucky for Christmas, which is still KFC. And so they started marketing that, especially in other countries. And it just became a kind of a deal in Japan. And so now it's a tradition for Christmas. You eat KFC in Japan. So,
Yum.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it's still pretty much all the elements of.
Well, that was the whole
Christmas
idea.
dinner.
It was almost like they're offering a Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
That contained. Actually, the KFC chicken Christmas dinner contained chicken and wine, and so I don't think they do that here in America. There's probably some licensing issues with that, but in other countries, it actually was chicken and wine. And not Pepsi. So
Well, there you go. Classed it up a little bit.
Here's one that I like because I've kind of known this one, but a lot of people, it's kind of a sensitive issue for people. And so it's whenever people put an X for Christmas and they're like, that's taking Jesus out of Christmas. And so even in modern times, it's now like CMAS. They do CMAS instead of Christmas. But did you know the X actually did mean Christ? So the X in the Greek alphabet is the chi letter, CHI, which is the first two letters of Christ. So it's actually more Christ than Seamus, which is just the first letter of Christ, if you think about it.
I think there's a storybook character whose name was Seamus. I'm sorry, it's completely random, but
What was like?
well, you said Seamus, and my head went
Seamus,
left.
that's like an Irish name.
Yeah, I read a book recently, and there was a character. Sorry.
So this has nothing to do with what
Not
I'm
at all. I took a left
You
turn.
completely derailed this conversation.
Totally derailed it.
That was more nonsensicality than I think I can handle.
Sorry.
But no, it's just one of those things that some people get really upset about the X, which is, I mean, it was even in the early 20th century, people would use that, and nowadays people think, no, they're taking Christ out of Christmas, but really, it's just as much. It's the Greek. It's actually closer because odds are good Jesus even spoke Greek.
That's good to know.
Yeah, there you go.
Well done.
So it's okay to have an X. It's not a bad thing. It's not evil. Let's get back to Santa Claus, all right?
I'm ready.
How many Santa Clauses do we have? Just the one, right? Wears red, drinks Coca-Cola.
Is this a trick question?
Well, in Iceland, they have 13 Santa Clauses. And an old lady who kidnaps children.
What's her name?
Let's see. I don't know. Grilla, Gry with a little accent over L-A. And she's a horrifying old woman, half troll, half beast, actually, who kidnaps naughty kids and boils them in her cauldron. I'm telling you, man, a lump of coal sounding a lot better than compared to most of these other cultures. But the 13 Yule lads, Y-U-L-E, lads, they either reward children for good behavior or punish them if they're naughty. And the holiday begins 13 days before Christmas. So each day, one of those 13 Yule lads will either reward or punish you. Which is, I mean, I could almost buy into that better. Because if you think about it, if like the first day you get a lump of coal, you're like, oh, I got to up my game. And maybe you might get a few good gifts towards the end of it, towards Christmas. So it's almost like there's a sliding scale of good, bad, as opposed to I either made the list or I didn't.
Okay, here's my question. I was a
Naughty list. You were on the naughty list all the time growing up.
okay, well, yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna deny that. I was an interesting kid, but I always got Christmas presents. Like my parents would do the whole you gotta behave. I still got presents. Like growing up, did you ever get
A lump
less
of coal.
presents or no presents or I was gonna get you this great gift, but you behaved really badly in July, so no gift. I mean,
remember that time he pushed your brother down the stairs?
February 24th was not your day.
No, and I think I think being a Christian, that helps me think, oh, there's always grace, and so I think it's more of a behavioral, let's try to use this to help our kids behave, at least towards the holidays, because you got to admit, towards the holidays, kids can get antsy, they can get almost a little bit greedy, and and so I think it helps, with that. Just like, hey, let's.
I learned how to very stealthily unwrap all the presents to find out what I was getting, and then
just think, if you were nice,
rewrap them all.
If you weren't, just think of the Christmases you would have had. Just think how much better it would have been for you had you behaved.
I can't go there.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Well. We're going to move on. There's several more I want to. One about talking animals and rivers turning to wine, but you're going to just have to go to passbook.com if you want to check that out. I want to get into the gingerbread because the cover of this week's podcast is Piggy and the Bear making a gingerbread house. And so I want to talk a little bit because what does that have to do with Christmas?
I don't know. I've never made one though.
I haven't. I think I did once or started to. Fun fact, you're not supposed to eat them. They are super hard and hurt your teeth. Not a fun fact. That's a horrifying fact. Why would you build a house out of gingerbread you can't eat? And so, there's a lot of history with gingerbread, and obviously the Grimm brothers probably made it the most famous with the story of the woman the witch who lured Hansel and Gretel into her house with it was a gingerbread house. Yeah. And so that's kind of where it took off. It goes all the way back to 2,000 years before Christ. Things like that is where gingerbread, it existed forever.
Wow.
But it became more popular in Germany in the 16th century, and then people started building houses out of them and fun things like that, and the Grimm brothers helped make it popular. And so it just kind of clinged to Christmas somehow through that time. But then now people make gingerbread houses, which we don't. That was never really a tradition in our house, even when we were raising Connor. I think we did it once, maybe. We found a kit for really cheap, and that's probably why it nearly broke my tooth when I tried to eat it. So here's the biggest gingerbread house, spanning nearly 40,000 cubic feet, was erected in Traditions Golf Club in Bryan, Texas. Texas, of course, they're known for big things.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
And so they made the biggest one. It required a building permit and was built much like a traditional house using 4,000 gingerbread bricks and 1,080 ounces of ground ginger. That doesn't seem like a lot of ginger, but it doesn't take a lot of ginger to make a gingerbread house. Isn't that crazy?
I'm trying to picture it in my head and I can't.
Well, I'm sure you could walk through it. It would have to. That's 40,000 cubic feet. That's huge. It's much bigger than our house. It's just crazy to think about how big that gingerbread house was.
Man, imagine when it rained.
So why don't we talk about what your favorite Christmas present was growing up?
Well, I have a better idea.
Because that was in the past.
Well, yeah. But if it's the Christmas past, and couldn't we do next week Christmas presents?
Oh, with the S, not like the current day and age, but presents. So next week's all about gifts.
Gifts.
Okay, I like that.
I'll tell you what it is next week.
So next week we'll talk about your favorite Christmas present, my favorite Christmas present. I have two that come to mind immediately. So you got a week to think about what your favorite Christmas gift was.
Got it.
All right, sounds good. Well, we will check in with you. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check in next week so you can hear what our favorite Christmas presents were and maybe some fun facts about Christmas shopping and things like that. But we can't wait to check in with that next week. But right now, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and buy the book, Piggy and the Bear, Santa's Little Helpers. I'm sorry. It's our bread and butter. Come on.
It's a great book.
It's a great book. No, it really is. So, but anyway, we will see you next week.
Bye.